What's going on, peeps? Um, got another video here that I thought might be a little interesting to watch. Um, Basically what we have here is our boy Nick Fuentes, who we saw featured in last video, and then also got Destiny. For those of you who don't know, Destiny is a Twitch personality, video gamer, left-wing, super far liberal left-wing, and Nick is, I guess you could say, super far right wing. But this is highlights from one of their streams they did on Lauren Southern's podcast. Um, yeah.
You're always making excuses. You're always making excuses. I like to say, let's hold everybody to the same standard. Let's have the same expectations of everybody. I think the people, not to go Dems are the real racists, but you know what, Destiny? You don't care about black people. In fact, I think you think less of black people because you read into their experience all these excuses. Oh, well, it was voter ID laws. Oh, well, it's explicitly anti-black. No. The truth of the matter is how much money has been dedicated to these programs for inner cities, for black youth, for blacks in STEM, for blacks in college, diversity quotas, and nothing's changed.
Inner city government funding. I don't even know. I don't even know.
So it's time to say, you know what? We are in the post-racial America. I grew up in a country where there was no institutional discrimination. It's time to say, look, everybody's got to play ball. Everybody's got to play by the same rules.
How do you explain studies?
Okay, I'd just like to say this. Nick brought up the very reasonable point of having everyone be held to the same standard, no matter what color you are. Same standard across the board. I don't know what's so unreasonable about that, but Destiny, man-child Destiny, has to hop in. We'll see what he has to say.
Is where they take similar applications and they switch out a white name with a black name, and the guy has a 50% chance less of getting a call back. How do you explain something like that?
I can explain that easily because blacks and whites, there are differences in the representation and the statistics. For example, if you look at the crime statistics for 2016, you look at just about I think it's all measures of crime, and black people commit by far and away more crime than white people. And by the way, the proportions are virtually the same, whether it's rape, murder, whatever you want to.
I would like to see the location of where they did said study, right? Because if said study was in, I don't know, like upstate New York, right? And you're trying to apply for jobs and your name is Shaniqua, like was in the study. I don't know. Maybe you should shorten it to Shanae or something. I don't know.
Divided by. And so people are using economy of information.
Why did you pivot?
Why did I pivot?
Why is it fair that if a black guy has the exact same application as a white person and his name is switched with a white person, he'll have twice the chance of getting hired?
And by the way, where does this happen?
What? It's one of the most popular studies on institutional racism in the United States.
Let's see this. What study?
Hold on.
What's the study? Hold on. Let me Google. Give me a break.
No, it doesn't exist, Bob.
What is a white name versus a black name? Give me a black name, Destiny.
Like Tyrone or Jamal?
Wow. You just got yourself, Destiny.
Whoa.
What are you, a white supremacist?
Is Steven not a black
Nazi?
Destiny?
Not generally. Are we going to sit here and
All right.
I love the dishonesty. We're going to sit here and
People
pretend that white people
are
don't have
generally
certain names generally and black people don't tend to have certain... How many...
I mean, I've met a white dude named Steven, and I met a black dude named Steven, so that's all I'm saying.
white women do you know that are named Shaniqua
Wow,
or Letitia?
Steven,
How many black people do you know named Shaniqua? Like, let's look this up. let's see if how popular is the name Shaniqua? Number 12, 12,000. Number 12,000. 12,000. 12,000. It is the 12,000th most. Wow. Yeah, that there's a reason Shaniqua probably got denied, and it's probably because Shaniquas aren't from where that study was taking place.
Believe in equality, okay? There's no differences between
Yeah, but you
people.
also believe that somebody that goes to Washington High School is going to have the
No.
same opportunities in life as somebody that goes to like St. Louis, the Pope fucking the 23rd.
I'm hearing a lot of problematic
Yeah, it seems like Destiny is just mad and reciprocating bullshit.
Rhetoric coming out of you that
I love the meme where when we back
it's
into a corner that we can't respond.
Steven!
Better pull out our memes, boys.
problematic.
Does anyone else here like Lake Hekistan?
I don't believe there is any such thing
Anyone else
as a
here
black
like-
man.
See, they always have to go there. They always have to go there with the meme in Kekistan. I mean, the whole entire liberal party is a meme. I mean, gender switching, race baiting, ignorant, racist people on the left.
See the frog?
Sorry, I want to jump in here for 2 seconds.
Anyone
I
else
don't
in here
know.
is a black name. Steven,
Anybody
I
else
thought
need
you
to-
were black. I thought
Anybody
you
else
were
that
black.
is able to recognize that there are problems in the black community, some of them maybe even belonging to black people and black cultures themselves, while also recognizing that black people have disproportionately faced really fucked up things in their history in America that other white people haven't. You can simultaneously
So have white people. That's just grossly inaccurate, Destiny.
recognize both of these positions and be just fine.
What are some, Steve? And I'm just curious. What would you say are some black cultural problems? Name some for me.
Yeah, concede.
Well, I
some
mean, black
problems
people's
are.
relationship to the police is pretty fucking dire at the moment, I would say, right?
Maybe
Well,
they
how do
should
you
stop
mean that?
doing crimes.
In what context?
Enlighten,
Coming from
dude.
the police
Stop
to
doing
black people,
crimes,
or from
dude.
black people to the police?
What?
I said in what context? We were talking like black cultural problems. I just want to hear you name a few. Do you mean their relationship with the police as in the police are treating them badly, or black people are responding badly to the police?
I would say it's probably a combination
Oh!
of both. But a lot of this roots from the problems of police legitimately fucking up black people and earlier in the 50s and 60s and shit, right? A lot of culture is reaction.
That was the 50s and 60s. It's 2019, almost 2020. Different time era, man. Move on. Just move on.
To other problems.
If people wouldn't stop living in the past, things wouldn't be so awful.
That's just goofy, man. Nobody's 20 years old today knows police brutality from the 1950s. You can't.
No,
keep
but they're
pulling this-
literal parents.
Exactly. Exactly. And then,
historical racism that doesn't excuse. And by the way, it's not like it's just like communities here that haven't been working. Certain people have been failing for thousands of years, and to write that off is like, oh well, it's just because they haven't been given enough money or programs. I think is a little bit ridiculous. It's kind of
Yeah,
coincidental.
that's ridiculous. But paying them all
Detroit-
$1,000 to ship them back to Africa, that's a very realistic
I
problem.
don't know
right
who's
there.
talking about that.
Okay.
Who
Talking
raised
about shipping
that?
them back to Africa.
All right,
Yeah.
okay.
Racist
Wait, no,
Steve.
Steve, who raised that point? I didn't hear that once during the stream.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that part of the big meme for you building your white ethno state? Is you have to ship some of these people
No,
back?
wacky Steve.
Wait, so how do you?
okay. So I figured this out. I figured this out. Destiny. Okay. Thinks of Nick as nothing more, nothing less than an incel 8chan white supremacist shit poster. That is what Old Destiny right here thinks of old Nick. Interesting. Interesting how you can't be a white male on the conservative side without being a white Nazi who wants an all-white ethno state. Yeah.
Deal with it right now. How do you deal with all the all those evil brown?
What are you talking about? Dealing with the
Damn, Destiny's just making himself look real bad, bro. No one's even saying any of the stuff he's saying.
What are you talking about, Wacky Steve?
You want a white super... I'm sorry, I thought you
Steve.
mentioned a white supermajority of the United States earlier. Did you not?
Yeah, by raising birth rates, by having families again, by
So
having
how do you keep
healthy replacement
Hispanic
rates?
and black people from having kids and make white people have more
nobody's
kids?
talking about that. Nobody's talking
No, I want
about
you to
this,
talk about
Steven.
it.
Here's the classic. That's how you know you got a liberal, okay? That's how you know you got one cornered. Is they start projecting like this. Start making a bunch of false, absurd claims, like exactly what Destiny's talking about right now.
How do you do it? How do you?
We're not trying to stop people from having babies. We want the majority in the country to start having kids again.
A huge difference between saying I think everybody should be able to choose to do what they want to do, but I think that most women would be happy doing this. There's a difference between that and then going on Nick's Twitter and then seeing him find some woman that wants to join like the pharmaceutical industry and being like, look at this dumb fucking cunt. I can't believe this stupid bitch wants to join the working world. What a fucking idiot. That you were railing on that chick because she wanted to get a normal job.
No. You're mistaking passion for anger. Look, listen, Bugman. Maybe you can't understand righteous Christian passion.
No, because I don't give a fuck about your imaginary boogeyman in the sky. We don't all live our lives by fucking.
That's really edgy. Hey, I tip my fedora to you, Destiny. Yes, I see we have a. Fellow big brain atheist here, but no, look, I am passionate because I see women who are throwing their ovaries and their lives down the drain because some commercial, some like Hyundai Sonata commercial said, look, women can be Jedi, and they should be astronauts. Women could be happy, maybe if they're being a secretary, maybe if they're being a teacher or, whatever. But when they pursue these careers at the expense of a strong husband, a household, beautiful children, it's a terrible mistake that they are making on the micro level and that we as a nation are making on the macro level. I want them to be happy. I only want women to be happy. I'm the most feminist person here.
And you guys understand that this is essentially like fundamentalist Islam, right? This is pretty closely aligned with their views on women, right? You understand that. Lauren, do you understand that?
We don't beat women.
Well, like I said, the difference is, the difference is force and it being enforced by a fist or a rock or whatever it may
but
be.
like excessive bullying or moving the culture in a certain direction, like this doesn't, as long as there's not an actual gun held to their head, it's a totally different thing.
Yes.
Of course it is.
A couple of years ago, he said, and many others have said the same thing, that there are group differences in intelligence. And he said it as a passing remark, as part of a talk. It was a very passing comment. And by the way, the numbers are basically true. This is not really a controversial thing. People like Charles Murray, many others have talked about it. He said very simply.
So what he's talking about is a scientist named James Watson who said that different groups of people from different parts of the world, different ethnic groups, have different IQ numbers. Some being higher than others, such as a Christian European will have a higher IQ than a sub-Saharan African. Get mad if you want, but again, it is what it is.
Simply, there are group differences. If you take the average of one group and you take the difference, or rather the average of another, there is a difference in IQ. He didn't say, therefore, he didn't say, and that means, and make a value judgment.
Those differences have a genetic basis.
This is something
he didn't
that's
say there's just a difference, he said they have a
said,
genetic basis.
excuse me, he simply said this is something that is true. He got his Nobel Prize revoked. He got shut down from every university. He's not allowed to speak anymore. They're taking everything. This is one of the most famous, important scientists in the history of the world. And he issued a mea culpa. He said, I'm sorry. I was reckless. I didn't really mean that. But they completely deplatformed this guy. He actually, I don't think they took his Nobel Prize away. He had to sell it because he's literally running out of money because nobody will host him anywhere. He can't get a job in university. And so when you look at something like that, you really begin to wonder, at what point does this system tolerate any kind of dissent? you have to wonder, maybe it's not so much you don't see left-wing terrorism because it's not inherently violent, but because there's no reason for them to commit asymmetrical anti-state terrorism. A right-wing person is on the outs, they're on the fringe. Who do they have to look up to in media, government, anywhere? A left-wing person, you've got all these major corporations. All
do
we
one
just
point,
got
or
them
is he
talking
just
about this.
Okay, well, let's go ahead.
I know this is like a shtick. Like, I don't mind doing it one on one.
I like how everybody else gets to talk as long as they want.
Nick, wait, hold on, Nick. I will bet you $500 right now. Do you want to bet on who's talked the most here? Nick. Do you want to bet on who's talked the most right now?
You don't shut the fuck up, dude.
Okay, so
This is what I meant in the first video. Okay, down here we have the left, Hassan and Destiny, and we have the right, Nick and Sargon. And this is what I mean. Neither side is willing to hear the other side out, so it results in
for reference, for our last debate,
a bunch of yelling, bunch of bullshit, when really, if Destiny would just listen to what Nick says, and Nick would listen to what Destiny says, and they come to a common agreement, this thing could go a whole lot simpler. But I'm just, yeah, I don't know anything apparently.
Nick pulled the same thing too, where he said he felt like he talked for twice as much as me, and somebody went through and counted the hours, and he talked for 2 hours to the 1 hour of conversation that I actually had.
Yeah, it's my show.
Okay?
That was my show.
Okay. You still said that you felt like you talked twice.
Okay, guys, please. This will get us
whatsoever on intelligence research. Then why are you so upset that the scientific community was so outraged when he started making opinions or making statements on the genetic heritability or whatever of fucking IQ?
I'm not saying that because of his position, his claim was particularly true or relevant. The point was to say...
Wait, no, why are you surprised that his no vote was...
Are you going to let me answer the question you just asked?
No, because if it takes you 20 fucking minutes to answer a pretty simple question, I won't let you do another fucking diatribe on some random fucking Nazi factoid. I'm just curious, why do you think that somebody...
Here's why I bring it up. Here's why I bring
Was he a Nazi? Yeah, I don't think he actually was. Yeah, no. Not a Nazi.
The point being is, here is somebody, we're not talking about the leader of the KKK. We're not talking about a neo-Nazi ideologue. We're talking about a well-regarded scientist.
The fact that you're well-regarded means you have even more responsibility to your speech, Nick.
And even a tiny little thing like that, he was completely obliterated and wiped out. The point was, obviously, no dissent is...
Like, he's just saying that different people from different places have different IQs. It's just like saying a man who's from sub-Saharan Africa, like, it's like saying that someone from sub-Saharan Africa compared to someone from Mexico, there's no difference in height, even though there legitimately is, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dude. Like, just people get so caught up on such little things. It's like, why? Like, get the bigger picture in life and everything.
Tolerated by anybody. You say, well, we have to handle responsibly.
Hold on. Come on, dude. I can't let him just go on, dude. Holy shit. Like, it's literal race realism. So he didn't just make one random comment. He literally said there was a genetic basis for differences in IQs.
Which is correct.
You don't know. First,
he tends to, when he gets cornered, resorts to this fast talking, and I'm gonna gish gallop, and I'm gonna hit you with an insult, and I'm gonna say you really believe that, you know, something completely ridiculous, these sorts of things.
You guys, dude, honestly, you guys should go fucking publish articles in Nature right now, because this is such a heated debate in the fucking research community. You guys just solve it right now. Like, LOL, you guys think that some differences in IQ isn't genetic? Well, just look, some groups of people are taller than others. Oh, I've solved the whole fucking issue. If only science were that fucking easy. If only science were that fucking easy. Holy shit, why do we waste so much time educating people?
Shout out Sargon, real dude, by the way.
We've got 22-year-old fucking Nazis on fucking YouTube over here. Jews control society.
Don't have any problem. Yeah, well, no, you said certainly not in that direction. Does that mean that you have a specific inclination against interracial relationships?
Yeah, I don't think it's something that should be promoted. I don't think it's
okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's just go on to the next topic.
I like the laughing.
Yeah.
That'll be really funny when you guys are bred out of existence.
Do you have any show after this?
Hard pills to swallow. Hard pills to swallow.
Correct?
That's right, yeah. America First with Nicholas J. Fuentes. I'll be going live probably in 10 minutes or something. All right, yeah, well, thanks. I'll be live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. America First with Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Yeah, that was that. I think this might wrap up the last political themed video for a little bit. But, yeah, interesting. Definitely, I'm not saying I support Nick. I'm not saying I support Destiny. I'm saying sometimes the person who's looked at as the bad one is not always the bad one. Peace.